Now that we know that we need to integrate after diving more deeply into the more technical and mechanical process of finishing this album, let's dive onto our next topic, writing authentic lyrics that fit into our story arc and the intention that was created in episode 4. If you haven't watched that one yet, I highly recommend pausing and checking it out. It's the compass that will be guiding us today. That story arc acts as our guide so we know the flow of the entire album and the types of experiences we want our audience to have. With this information, we'll get to really dive into the heart of each individual song within that narrative. And that, my friends, often reveals the most intimate and sometimes intimidating part of writing authentic lyrics: vulnerable details. So how do you take a raw emotion, a fleeting memory, the ones you captured in a mindful moment on a recording, see episode 2 for more on that process, and translate it into words that truly resonate and support your new story arc? For many of us, especially those with a history of suppressing our own emotions with classical technique, words can feel a little clunky and scary. We're used to expressing through precise notes and complex harmony, but lyrics, they demand a different level of expression, emotional precision, vulnerability, and a willingness to state a feeling clearly with details. I know this was a huge hurdle for me. When I first started writing songs after I lost my ability to play the clarinet, the thought of putting my deepest feelings onto plain words felt incredibly exposing and unsafe. I wanted to hide behind metaphors or just let the music speak for itself and use no words. But I realized that to truly create the fullest breath of a symphony that has all level of emotions and break out of the silo I created with my technical expertise, the words needed to be as authentic as the music. They needed to serve the story. The challenge isn't just what to say and how to say it, it's to say it in a way that both deeply resonates with you and is universally relatable and done without oversharing, which is equally as ineffective and unsafe. It's about being vulnerable on your own terms and claiming the experience. So, how do we mindfully approach writing authentic lyrics that seamlessly fit into our album's narrative? Here's the simple step-by-step guide that has helped me find my own voice, word by word by word. Step 1, revisit your album's story and the song's place in your narrative. Before we even start thinking about the specific words, take a moment to reconnect with the big picture. Take a breath. Open up the outline or spreadsheet from episode 4, where we mapped out your album story. Find the specific song we're working on and ask yourself, what is the song's emotional role in the overall album story? Is it a moment of tension? Maybe one of release, confusion, revelation, longing, maybe joy? What happened just before this song in the narrative? And what's going to happen after? What is the core feeling or message this particular song needs to convey to move the narrative forward? And remember, just don't try to force it. Just try allowing the answers to be uncovered naturally. Right now, you are setting the intention and creating a space so your words can exist within a safe container that you created this story arc. And that is where you'll allow yourself to experience some more raw vulnerability. Think of this like you're a private journal. So for this entire process, feel free to do anything you need to make this container feel safer and more comfortable to you. You're doing something new. You're creating a space for you to be vulnerable on your own terms. Okay, now on to step 2, the hard part, the sensory and emotional dump. Empty the jug. Now, this is where we get the raw, but in a safe, private way. Now that you have clearly know what happens in your album and where your song lies, find a private space, set a timer for 5-10 minutes, and just start writing or recording yourself to know everything that comes to mind when you listen. You can start focusing on sensory details. What do you see, hear, taste, touch, smell when you imagine this moment in the story? For example, the warm sun rising over a busy, busy city, the wistful smell of my favorite flower, the bitter taste of regret. And remembering that we are being intentional about creating this container to reinvite these raw emotions. So don't censor. I know if you're like me, you want to shut down here. If you feel angry, just write, I feel angry. If you feel fragile, say, I'm on the verge of breaking into tears. It's okay to be this vulnerable. And also just note that in the previous step, we didn't want to use metaphors as you can hide behind them and protect your raw vulnerability. But now we want to mindfully approach and intentionally craft those details into a format like metaphors to convert these ideas into a relatable way. Also, you can look for specific imagery, like instead of I was lonely, try the echoes of my past stopped my feet on the cold concrete floor. Images are far more powerful than abstract statements. Look for opportunities to shift your perspective. Can you tell the story from a different angle, from the perspective of an object, a memory, a future self? This can create distance for you while still conveying the core emotion. Sometimes writing in the second person, the you, or the third person, they, can create a protective layer while still being deeply authentic. A point of clarity here, the goal is to find the felt truth of the emotion, not necessarily the literal truth of the event. This filter helps you craft lyrics that are deeply personal, yet universally understood. It allows you to protect your energetic boundaries while still connecting deeply with your audience. Step 4, align your album's story arc. So as you refine your words, remember to reference your album's story arc to support that narrative. Do these lyrics move the story forward in a way that you intended for this specific song? Do they set up the next song in the story? Do they echo themes and images from earlier songs in the album and create cohesion? Do they serve the emotional journey you're creating for your listener? This is where your mindful clarity from episode 4 truly shines. If a lyric feels amazing, but pulls away or distracts us from the album story, this is your opportunity to mindfully make a choice. Maybe it belongs on a different project, or maybe it just needs a slight tweak to fit. This isn't about restricting your creativity or expression, but about supporting our intentions that we have already created. Writing authentic lyrics is the act of courage, but it doesn't have to be an uphill battle in the middle of a storm on the top of a mountain in the middle of winter. By mindfully connecting your story and personal truth to your album's larger story, you're not just writing words, you're breathing life into your musical world. You're giving your audience something truly profound to connect with. So, to recap our mindful guide to writing authentic lyrics for your album story. 1. Revisit your album story and the song's placement in that narrative. Clarify the song's emotional role and where it fits into the larger narrative. 2. The sensory and emotional dump, empty the jug. Freely write and record the raw sensory details and emotions connected to the song. 3. Find your vulnerable filter. Use metaphors, specific imagery, and perspectives to shift the craft from raw emotions to authentic lyrics without oversharing. 4. Align your album's story arc. Ensure that your lyrics serve the overall narrative and emotional flow of your album. I'm so excited to explore this process and find the words that truly elevate your music. What's one feeling or experience you're hoping to translate into the lyrics of your album? Let me know in the comments below. If this video helped you approach the lyric writing process with more authenticity and intention, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video in this series about songwriting mindfully for trained musicians. This video series is all about learning how to more deeply and clearly express ourselves. Stay present with all the ups and downs that come along with this process. It's a journey. Thank you for watching and keep expressing yourself.